Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment. Welcome, everyone. We are talking about ascension and really working with these higher frequencies that are available on the planet now, and actually the higher beings who are available and assisting us. And I'm here with Ascension Wayshower Meg Benedicte, who is on a tireless path to ensure that all that she runs into, she is able to assist on this journey. Let's welcome Meg Benedicte back to this presentation. Hello, Meg.
Hi, Lauren. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure.
Well, here we are in this beautiful year of 2021. And let's get an update. It is fascinating what's going on. We're seeing levels of transparency in the collective. It seems like so much is coming up to be revealed.
Yes.
And it seems like now more than ever, this inner voice, this connection with the higher self is truly the way forward. So how are you doing with that? Let's check in with an update from you.
Well, this is a 5-year, if you add 2021, it's a 5-year. And in numerology, it's bringing in energies of change, which we're seeing, and progress. And it also feels like it's kind of has this builder energy, like building new. And I think after what we've been through last year, through the shutdown and the pandemic, that in a way was like a collapsing, kind of decomposing energy for last year. And for those who don't know my work, I work very closely with Archangel Metatron, and we track the different transits and gateways as kind of a measurement of the progress that's happening, you know, in the ascension, both on the planet and also personal. And so I'm going to backtrack a little bit here that led us to this year. In 2019, I started getting very strong impulse that I was going to be doing the 12-12, and it's a 12, 2019, you add that up, it's a 12. So we had a 12-12-12 gateway the end of 2019. And I kept getting, you have to do this in Mount Shasta. I live, no less than an hour away from Mount Shasta. So I, go get a space, let everybody know you're coming in, and we're going to do a big group 12-12-12 gateway activation. And we did it also online, so everybody could join us from all over. But that one set this off, because also what was happening around December 2019, that was the start of the pandemic. Okay, so we had this massive gateway that was aligned with the galactic center, because it was also happening in Sagittarius, and that's where the galactic center is located. So in a way, we had a galactic gateway of 12s. And if you know me and my work with Metatron, 12 rings everywhere. 12, this is a 12-dimensional universe. We have the 12-strand DNA crystalline, right? Crystalline code, like 12 is everywhere. So it was a big, I think it was maybe even more powerful than 2012, but it was a big one. And it began this process of collapsing the old Earth timeline that we were all born into. That's controlled by the 1%, and they manipulate and use fear to control and all this kind of thing. I call it the Armageddon timeline. I think we've been living in an Armageddon timeline since we were born, and that sucker was done on 12/12/12. So what happened? Then we all are having to stay home through 2020. We're all in this shutdown. We're all, in a way, all our distractions stop, and we're in this kind of review process last year, right? We're in our stuff, right? We're having to kind of look at life, and everything is changing, because even just how we work and travel and everything just is a big reset. Last year was a big reset. So as the old Armageddon timeline's collapsing out, breaking down, kind of like, spring and the seeds start to grow, and this new Earth timeline is here. And it was really launched this year. So in a 5-year. So coming all the way through that and into now, we're in this year of choice, and we're in this year of change, and we're in this year of building anew. And in May, we had a powerful 555 gateway. And so this was May 5th, 2021, which is a 5. And so that was only some weeks ago. And it has been nonstop since that. So 555, this launched really kind of the birthing of our ascension life in this newer timeline. And it happened during Taurus. So this, of course, is the sign, Earth sign of really getting it grounded, really kind of now we're going to live it. We're going to live it. We don't have to work so hard to attain it. In a way, we're birthing alive in this. And then just this last week, we had a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, another galactic event. And I have been noticing since then that not only myself, but also working with all my clients, that lunar eclipse is helping us purge our old Earth history. And this could be coming up in so many ways. So it could be coming up out of your, the memory in your mind. It could be coming out of trauma, out of your feeling body, emotional body. You could I'm even feeling it come out of my physical body too, where all the old history is just getting wiped out. Like it's like a quantum computer reset, you guys, okay? And then we go into, let me just share real quickly what's coming. So then the second eclipse is coming on June 10th in 19-degree Gemini. And what I'm picking up on that one, so we're purging our history, and this could go on for a while, especially depending on how many lives you've had here. You might have layers of this that's coming out, but it feels like this eclipse in June and the solstice in June are really more about like soul empowerment. Their energy feels very strengthening, stabilizing, empowering. And so in a way, that's kind of how healing works, right? We go through the freak out, the breakthrough, the breakdown, and then we build. And so I feel like that's what's now in front of us is more of, we'll still be clearing, but we're going to now really start to build. And then in July, we have the Syrian gateway, and this is, if that's new to anybody, this is the time between July 3rd to August 11th, about 6 weeks, where the blue star Sirius rises with our sun on the horizon. It is the brightest star in the sky, and it really gives us an infusion of indigo, Sirian light, and Sirian consciousness. And they're a very advanced society. They're the ones who brought us sacred geometry and alchemy. I mean, they are the founders of Lemuria, and so we have our annual bathing of Syrian light during that time. And then we, of course, have our 8/8 Lions Gate, which is one of my favorite gateways of the year, because it's all about the lion and the heart and strength. And again, awakening that history that we carry within our cellular memory of the Lemurian civilization. So I see things during this time of year coming forward to be not so much having to look behind us anymore, you know, in the past. In a way, we're being encouraged to just kind of erase that out. We're getting, and think of it like your earthly history is completing, and now we're opening up to more of our galactic bloodlines and our soul purpose and our soul blueprint turning on, our galactic genetics turning on. So we're evolving from being earthly humans to more galactic humans. I see happening, and what an incredible process to go through. So that's, in a nutshell, quick overview.
Well, I thank you for that overview, and I just want to share it corroborates as well with what other spiritual teachers and seers have experienced and witnessed and felt into. And the fact that you are saying that it's purging the old earth timelines, that's the common theme. It's been described as a timeline wipeout. Someone saw it as a timeline wipeout. And that was in April, before the 555 gateway, some were saying. So isn't that spectacular? It really feels
very
fresh.
freeing. Yes.
There is a freshness. There is a freshness. So, you know, you work with the quantum vortex, and that's really a tool that you were given by Metatron to assist everyone in this. And we'll have time for that in our episode today. Let's talk about the residue of the old timelines. It comes down to a level of fear. There's still a level of fear in some. And, you know, with what's going on in our world, we see that it's important to be aware, but not to take sides with anything. And even in our own community, we can see, wow, there's some divisiveness in it. Yet there's the eye on the prize of new earth. So it's the collapse of the old timelines. Instead of watching the collapse of the old timelines, that's where a lot of fear could get dredged.
Yes. And you can get really obsessed with that if you stay focused on just that. Yes.
So it seems like liberation from those old timelines and liberation from fear, and really rooting out the fear. I know each of us in our own day-to-day experience can look and see where it comes up and how we react. But what would you say for really shifting into the creation of the new, the building of the new, the working with our galactic bloodlines? How do we do that?
Okay, so let me do a quick recap too of what did happen in 2012, which is why I think a lot of this fear and paranoia is coming up. I was living in Mount Shasta at the time, and I had this really stark awareness vision on December 21st, 2012. And it was where what we call like the matrix simulation that's been controlling, our quantum computers in our minds, it unlocked and it stopped. And so I was euphoric. I was like, this cannot be happening. This is amazing, because we cannot evolve and ascend until that stopped. So that was one data point. What I have noticed over 25 years of working with clients is, and it's kind of how Metatron described it to me, he called it the incarnational wheel. And he said, we are these unique aspects of our divine monad oversoul, and we incarnate to learn and evolve and express and create. And ideally, we would then at transition return back to our monad oversoul. But what was happening because of this matrix simulation was we would get caught in the 4D astral plane, and we would keep recycling in the reincarnational cycle. It's basically trapping souls in the 4D astral plane and continuing to reincarnate. And it degraded our genetics. It degraded us into amnesia. We lost connection to our divine soul presence. And many of us were incarnating in these Armageddon timelines, like Atlantis. The fall of Atlantis is a great example of excessive trauma trapped in people's biofields, and if they experienced that incarnation. And so once the matrix simulation unlocked in 2012, we are no longer trapped in this incarnational cycle. So that's the good news. Now we're, and so this is part of kind of the ascension language, that we're beginning to then return to being immortal. We're not trapped in cycling over and over again here. And the other thing too that's happening is, because this is all unlocking and opening up, all that we hold in this, the biochemical, memory in our bodies of all the trauma from this life and past life, and creating such a fear that we're not safe here, because in a way we haven't been. It's not denying this, it's actually very true. This is all very real and tangible, and it's charged inside us. And this all has to get healed and cleared and released. Otherwise, what we're seeing happening in the community is you're going to keep expecting more and more Armageddon futures. If you don't clear this and resolve it and get the trauma out and start embodying the divine monad presence that is you're going to just be cycling more painful futures. This is not what we want. We want everyone to get free of that cycle and be able to begin to live in fifth dimension and higher, which is where we're returning to being interconnected with our benevolent universe, instead of being separate and disconnected and trapped in a 4D astral plane reincarnational cycle. That's huge right there. That's visceral. That's coming out of us. Everybody has this coming out of them, unless this is their first incarnation, which I do want to make a quick note. Those souls, the young baby souls coming in now, are not in that reincarnational trap. And so when we were in the cycling, when we would come in through the earthly entry gates, we would get tagged, we would get implanted, we would get all this crap put into our minds of the simulation. And so now this new earth generation that's coming in now, they aren't getting interfered with when they come in through the earth gates, the entrance gates. So that's also another good point that's happening. So this really is, when you talk about a 5-year, this is our liberation year from so much of this history that's been really limiting us and torturing us, tormenting us. This stuff is literally rising out of ourselves. So anything and everything you can do to self-care and cleanse yourself and replace what you are clearing with more and more of your divine light presence. So it's a transference from all that was toxic and harmful and frightening. As that's all releasing, we replace it with our divine soul presence, and everything improves. Everything improves.
It takes just a little droplet of that divine perfection or spirit to transmute everything. So this is not a cop-out by choosing not to look at our world. It is a responsibility to create the newness that we wish to see in the world. And so thank goodness we can be done with the Armageddon timelines.
Yes. But
Right.
we do want to stress that this does not mean you bypass the work of the healing and the clearing, because so many are still doing that, and that's the problem. There's so much drug use and alcohol use and, addiction in the spiritual community, but they have excuses for all of it, but in the way you are feeding your trauma still, you're not healing your trauma, you're not dealing with your trauma, you're bypassing it. And so, yes, we don't want to focus so much on all of the collapsing systems out there and the ugliness out there. I do want to know what's happening in the news because I want to make sure I'm safe. To me, that's part of me making my human self safe. But I don't entrain with all of that negativity. I don't entrain with all of that fear. I keep an eye on the dial, see what's happening, but I make sure my antennas are pointed inwards to my divine soul light and soul presence. And so it's about your energy. Is it coming in or going out? Well, I don't let that come in. I will make sure I know what's going on, but I don't ingest all of that Armageddon energy because I'm so busy trying to clear that out. I don't want any more coming in. So it's being really conscious and careful of the flow of your energy, who you let into your reality, what you let into your reality. So you start to really focus on energetic hygiene and be very careful with it as you continue. It's kind of like emptying your cup. You're releasing, you're clearing, you're purging, you're detoxing, and then you're creating this sacred vessel for the soul to embody in.
Energetic hygiene. I know some might have a question on what that would be. Mm-hmm. What do you do each day when you start, when you get up? What's your protocol?
When I get up, I ground onto the crystalline grid. So I immediately set where I'm going to hold my energy field for the day. So I use my feet chakras like magnets. I lock right on, ground onto the crystalline grid. This is our ascending Gaia's grid. I come, especially from sleep state, you might feel like you're a bit, in the astral. I hold really in my heart and solar plexus. That's in my center. I stay in my body, in my center. And then I kind of set the frequency for the day. So I work with Metatron's technique to get into coherence, 0-point coherence for the day. And then you just kind of are in this Zen flow through everything you're doing. It's very different than how I used to be when I was really, split and polarized. So you just start, your heart is very open and receptive. The magnetic field is pulsing. It's pulling in what supports you. You keep your auric shields nice and contained around the outer boundary of your aura. So you are able to be cognitive of personal boundaries, your boundaries and other boundaries. And then I, of course, with what you ingest. So I'm very careful with eating organic and live foods, and also not watching anything on the internet that would, come in that is polluting the clarity of my own channel, or my own thought process. And so I, for one, I don't watch YouTube, you guys. I just don't. I don't read other channelings. I stay clearly in my channel up to my higher self, and that is who I communicate through the day with. I don't allow in others' opinions. I listen to be honoring of what other people are going through, but I don't ingest that in because it can get all mucked up inside in the mind. As a quantum healer, I do a lot of deprogramming, and so I'm very aware of what can easily get in there and cause mental confusion or mental fog and uncertainty, and it clogs up your channel, your chakra channel to your higher self. And then you feel lost because you aren't getting the guidance you need. So keep your channel clean. I also don't allow my ego into my chakra channel. Ego shouldn't be in there controlling this energy field or my choices or decisions or my life. And so I'm hyper vigilant on that as well. And And so it just becomes a part of your reality once you realize how we were being too passive and it was causing a lot of problems. So I just became quite aware I needed to be more careful.
Okay, good. So you mentioned a couple things, the auric shield and no ego in your chakras. So what are some techniques for your aura? I mean, here we go right into the quantum vortex, right? Because we've learned that even someone in a grocery store could be in your auric field.
Absolutely.
And that could ruin the rest of your day. So what do you do to clear your auric shield or to keep it strong and fortified?
So I use the technique of the quantum vortex, as you mentioned, and it's opening a vortex around the field. You use the spin momentum, kind of like a washing machine. You spin momentum to clean out. So I spin out any debris or interference. And I also use the power of the right brain. The right brain, we're mostly raised in a left brain dominant society, and our right brain is so powerful. I wasn't using it. I had to learn how to use this, but it is our holographic mind. It is what we use to visualize, and it is our psychic mind, and it's our multidimensional mind. So when we start practicing using that right brain more, everything starts to improve. So I would get up, I would lock onto the crystal grid. It doesn't even matter if you're outside or inside, you use that right brain, you visualize your feet literally right onto those ley lines of the grid, lock on, and I can feel my feet go vroom. And this is where you're getting the mind matter connection getting strong, right? What you visualize and command actually happens in your body, in your field. I then visualize the orb of light around the outer perimeter of my aura and have that ground with my feet onto my path of light. So wherever I go, that orb is always with me. When I first started doing this process, I realized, ew, that orb looks like it's got a lot of holes in it and it's all beat up because, of course, I'm living in an Armageddon timeline. And so I worked with my angels, worked with Metatron, and we sealed that orb so that, it's like plasma light sealing your perimeter. You have a boundary, like it's tangible. And then I would also visualize it before I go to sleep. So it was always around me if I was doing any kind of astral travel. I was getting a lot of entity interference in the astral traveling as well. So I've kept more in my field now, in my body, and I let my super consciousness right brain travel the universe instead of leaving my body to connect to the universe. I use my higher mind, super consciousness to do that now. So using your visualization and your commands together, your protocols, your commands, that is a very powerful process that will start to hold that in. And I began, after doing that over time, I started getting feedback from people like, I feel like there's this circle around you. I can't get in. And I'm thinking, one, why are you trying to get in? Right. And two, oh yes, it's working. So, and this from non-spiritual people. So I was actually a scientist in my corporate job. I was like, oh, this really works. Okay, good. So those are ways to contain your orb, contain your private space. And I find it listens to us, so it can expand way out if you're getting into the heavens, right? It can get really big, or it can come tight around you if, like, let's say you get into like a crowded elevator or something and you just want to contain your energy. It can come in around you. It's our fields are so brilliant. They really do listen to us. And then what was the second thing that you were asking about other than
how would you know? You said that you don't let your ego into the chakras.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
First of all, how would you know when the ego is in?
Okay. That's when I first started working on doing what's called, the shadow work, working with the ego identity, ego personality. Because I realized this thing is controlling everything. It's making all the life decisions, and they're really bad decisions. And they're, it's very aggressive, and it's getting into battles with everybody. And it's like making my life miserable and probably everybody else around me miserable. And I'm like, I've got to get a handle on this ego. So one of the ways that you can start doing this is just kind of watching where you're getting feedback, that will tell you where you have some ego patterning running or ego programming running. Just watch how people react to you, or if you're getting triggered with people, watch. That's giving you good, valuable feedback that you've got to go work on that. And so some of the patterns of the ego, there's some pretty general ones I find in all of us. And one is like greater than, less than, feeling either insecure or superior. This is running everywhere. Everybody's got this to a certain extent. And then you can take it even further and call it victim and persecutor. And so we flip back and forth. The ego experiences both extremes. These are very extreme polarized patterns. Our job is to get into the 0 point, into the center of those, where those extremes aren't controlling us anymore. And I have a whole process that Metatron taught me to work with those. But when I would pay attention to, where is that running? Okay, if I'm having some victim running right now, I really feel it in me. I'm angry. I feel like, woe's me. Everybody's out to get me. You start to get into this consciousness. And I'm like, where would I find it? Well, I began to find it in back of the brainstem. So it's running out of that primal brainstem, or kind of our unconscious self. It's running out of there. And I began to find that when I was starting to get communication coming down the chakra channel, through the crown, into the third eye, and communicate from my higher self, I would feel and see my ego come right in here and block it, and was analyzing it. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Get the hell out of there. And it would stop it, and it was gone. And so our thinking mind, primal brain, ego self is in here messing things up. It's blocking the flow of communication with our higher selves. So, and then I would also feel it get in with the anger and the revenge and all this, so now it's in my heart and throat chakra. So it's like, oh, no, you don't get to be in there, because this chakra channel is our sacred home for our soul to live in, not our ego. All right. So one of the things that I do when I catch it, and everybody can do this. So once you really feel it, and you can kind of feel where it is in you, where it's pushing on you, and it's trying, it's very aggressive pushing. I kind of visualize, use that right brain, and I kind of lock onto it and escort it out of the chakra channel into the aura. And I have all that light pour into it, because we can start to transmute that shadow personality, because it is aggressive and controlling. So you just bring it into the light and start that dissolving of its rigidness. You start dissolving it into the light. You start transmuting its aggression in the light. And over time, it began to actually, it wants proof, right? Because it's very 3D. So it doesn't believe anything unless it has proof. So it wanted to see how things were going if I actually listened to the higher self instead of the ego. And things went better. And so finally, over time, it was like, okay, we'll do what the higher self says. So it was a shift in power within me, from that very rigid, aggressive ego personality, to finally going, all right, I guess if we follow the higher self, things are going to go really well. And I'm not in this big battle with it anymore.
Beautiful. Beautiful that you can share that process with all of us, because it truly helps us recognize what's going on within each of us. And so that truly is a journey to be so aware. And we talk about New Earth all the time. New Earth is created by our higher selves.
Yes.
And the inspiration, no matter what it is, will always be given to us. And so that's why we honor the work that you do, connecting folks with their higher self. Mm-hmm. And if that's all we do is connect one person to their higher self, we've done our job. Yeah. And I know that all of those who understand what that higher self is, what that voice of the higher self is, it's our time to share this with everyone. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about the energies of this year so far. Another thing that is corroborated by many is that people are feeling the new earth frequencies in a palpable way.
Yes, and it is a field of, and it's a 5D field, it's a field of unity consciousness. And so this ego of ours is only about me, right? So it's separating us out. So the more that we transmute that identity and we open the hearts to our beautiful soul essence, soul presence, we begin to enter this field of the new earth. And it's this 5D field of interconnectedness and oneness and joy. And we don't have this push-pull battle of the ego interfering there anymore. It's not dominating us, and it's not dominating our relationships, and we're able to collaborate and create together. And it's really moving into like a win-win civilization. And we haven't had that. We've been in Armageddon. You know, the Armageddon timeline was controlled by the ego. So we're going into a new earth timeline that's actually controlled by it for the greater good. I mean, what a concept, huh? And everything will thrive then. So yes. I truly feel it's open and operational and activated, and it's available, and anybody who chooses can live in it now. And it's been a long, I mean, I first started working on this we had to first start working on it probably about 20 years ago. It was just a vision at that point, and then slowly building it as a hologram, you know, in the astral plane, and finally starting to get it onto the earth plane. I mean, it's been a long haul for the wayshowers who built this new earth timeline. And that's why it's so exciting that it is live, you guys, and go for it. It's here.
Yay, go for it. All right. And that's why we've always said, hold your vision of new earth. Just hold your vision. We yes. are inspired as we do that, and we know the right steps to take. Yes. All right. Well, in just a moment, we're going to have you do a quantum vortex with us. And I would really like to focus on unity consciousness and the liberation from all fear. And we'll get there in a moment, but I want to ask you about what you made a comment earlier. You said that really once we get done with this shadow and this trauma, we are opening to our galactic bloodlines. Can you share a little bit more about how we begin to recognize that within ourselves? I mean, that's a whole other show in itself.
It sure is. Yeah.
Tell us that. Yeah.
Well, we incarnated into not just this physical body, but we came in coded and wired and designed with a light body. And it's probably been dormant most of the life, give or take. First, you know, some people may be using it more than others. But now that the old timeline's collapsing out and this new one is supporting us, it's opening up our capacity to receive in a lot of galactic photon plasma light that's coming in. We're in a solar maximum right now. It started in December 2019. There we go again. The 12-12-12 is when the solar maximum started. It's going to go to 2030. So they run about 11 years. Minimum, we just finished a minimum. Now we have a maximum. It's called the solar cycle 25. And this is allowing infusions of galactic light to come in and turn on this dormant light body that's been waiting for all this. So two things happening. We're bringing in more of our soul presence and our own soul light frequency. So that turns it on. Think of it kind of like fuel to an engine, right? Our own soul, because it's designed for us. Each of us has our own unique bloodline light body designed for, as the home for our soul. So the more we get our soul in, our soul light in, it starts activating and turning on that light body. I watch it all the time, working with clients and myself. I feel it start to tingle all over, and it's like a Christmas tree. Everything in that light body is lighting up. It's coded with your blueprint. So embedded in the light body is your soul blueprint. So those are the instructions to operate the light body. And also embedded in is your original soul's galactic code. So this is your bloodline code. So we come from all over. We're not, I think most of us aren't even from this area here in the Milky Way. We come from other galaxies as well. We're coming from the multiverse, and we're bringing our unique starseed code, bloodline lineage, our own genetics, and that is beginning to replace this reptilian human hybrid devolved coding that's breaking down with the Armageddon timeline. So our own galactic code will light up, turn on, and replace probably the two-strand DNA human code. This is a very interesting time to see how far we can go with this, but it is happening, and it's hard on the body. You probably have felt it. It's you're detoxifying out the old human hybrid genetics, and then turning on, lighting up your galactic code. I find there's days where I just have to sleep. It's exhausting, but everything is like we're pushing and pushing and pushing our body's capacity to become more and more of a crystallized light body. So that is happening as well. And as you mentioned earlier too, Loren, is as this galactic light body and code turns on more, we are now a transmitter, a clearer transmitter to our galactic family and support teams. So you may start to feel or sense or even get communication, direct communication from the galactics that are supporting you in this activation. And so I'm hearing that as well come up in client sessions, that they're getting more galactic communication happening.
Very interesting. Very, very cool.
Yes.
And that actually does fall in line with other reports that we've had as well with people and their experiences. So this is all very exciting. Again, it is our responsibility to be immaculate with our energy and our space, and to clear out all of those triggers. And it's going to be beautiful. I know that there are some who say they are not triggered at all anymore. We'll get there, but we're still human, and you can still be gentle with ourselves as we do get there.
That trigger is for healing. Yes, to be gentle with yourself when it happens, but and respond to it too.
So that when we feel triggered, we're like, ooh, here's an opportunity.
It is. Because once you address it and resolve it and heal it and let it, clear out, your nervous system, all those triggers, I see the triggers like literally like kind of like an overlay grid on your nervous system. So as you are transmuting those triggers, then your nervous system isn't getting overstimulated by all that, and you're able to maintain more of your, your 0 point zen.
And then to take it further and look at that choice of love. Really, it's a choice of love, rewriting, if we want to call it, rewriting it into a space of love. Then it's the DNA that's changing or activating.
Because that love is real, love is light. And as that is pulsing in the field, it's talking to your DNA. And so there's all this upgrading happening, and it's all driven by that powerful universal love frequency.
Yes. Well, it's always so good to talk with you, because it makes us feel good, and again, it keeps our eye on the prize. And we have all the tools. We absolutely have all the tools. So let's use a tool of Meg Benedicte's quantum vortex. And again, we were going to focus on unity consciousness. So releasing anything that keeps us from that.
So anything separating us from being a whole and one inside with think of it kind of like we're taking all these different parts of ourselves, our feminine and our masculine, and our human and our monad soul, our divine soul presence. We're bringing all these parts of us that have all been kind of fragmented and split and separated. And we're pulling them all inwards. You can focus on the heart as we're doing it if you like. Think of it like the vacuum in the heart, pulling all inwards to blend and unite and merge. And this is how, Metatron would tell me, it's like you're piecing yourself back together from, lifetimes of being in separation. So this is our destiny. This is our legacy too, that we're doing now, is to become whole again. And so this tool helps us do that. It's a kind of a hyperspeed vortex spin that accelerates that process of unification inwards and then clearing outwards. So I'm going to show, we'll go both. We'll do some clearing of the fear and trauma from the old timeline, and then we'll come in and pull in and go into unity consciousness, go into unity. Not only are we uniting within ourselves, we're uniting again also with this benevolent universe, and of course our beloved Gaia. So we're starting to connect with, right, the nature spirits and the elements and all. We're becoming we're no longer separate from this pulsing field around us. We start to be in the flow with this pulsing field. We're one with it. Okay, to do that then, let's go ahead and come inwards now. So we've been talking, we're just going to come down from the mind and just begin to focus into your feeling body and into your heartbeat. Take a couple deep breaths, going into the breath. Feeling into your power center, which is your solar plexus there, right in your belly. And this is what I do when I wake up in the morning. So I'm going to take you through the steps. So you come in, you get present in the body, then visualize your feet chakras like magnets, and they're going to lock right onto the crystalline grid of our beloved new earth. So those are the ley lines. They're about 2 feet under the surface into earth, and get your feet magnets connecting to those ley lines, just like roots of light to the grid. As we lock in and ground in, it helps run the energies now vertically up and down our chakra column, up and down the body. There you go. So you might feel that flow beginning to move from the grid, up the feet, up the legs, up the channel, and then also back down. Now, Metatron is going to assist us, and he's embedding Metatron's cube under your feet. If you don't know what Metatron's cube, there's a picture of it behind me. It's made of 6 outer circles, 6 inner circles, and then a center 13 circles. So imagine it under our feet, and we're going to step into the center. As we give it our energy, we give it our light, we're grounding into Metatron's cube. Those 12 circles start to rise up as pillars of light, and they're humming and vibrating, pulsing with the 12 harmonic tones. Oh, just vibrant all around the body and the aura. Starting to create a very powerful force field. And they're humming with the, we call it the phi harmonics, but in our human ears, we hear it as Om. And as those pillars are humming and vibrating, they're starting to rotate right to left, anti-clockwise around the body. So let's start getting them spinning up. As they go faster and faster, those pillars begin to blend and become a vortex of white light all the way around you, spinning. And it's like a V shape from your feet up and out around your aura. So it's beginning to open and expand your field up and out into the higher dimensions. Open up. You can breathe with it as we're moving energies now. Opening and expanding the field. We're going to go even faster, collapse the time barriers and the gravitational force field, and open all the way out to the quantum level. There we go. And this is now where we can access both the physical field and non-physical field, particle field and virtual particle field. All right, let's come inside. Now we're going to bring an inward spiral rising up from Metatron's cube at your feet to your root chakra, right at your pelvic floor. And here we go, spiraling again, anti-clockwise all the way up the channel. And as you're moving up your chakra channel, you're clearing density, toxins, trauma out of your chakras. So drilling up, clearing all the way to the top, to the higher self. We go all the way up, clear channel. There we go. And as we connect up to our beloved higher self, our God self, your soul is made of your signature light and your sound waves. And so connecting to your soul light, your soul tones, your frequencies, they're unique to you. Getting a good sense of your divine soul essence, because this is what we've been disconnected from. We're rebonding, reconnecting now. All right, we're going to now reverse and start bringing the soul light down the channel. So big stream of your soul light, your soul tones, your soul frequencies, pouring down the crown and into all the chakras. You're an open receiver, breathing soul presence into the body, all the way down and in. Woo, filling in, going all the way down to the lower body, lower chakras. There you go, filling in. So now your channel is really starting to light up with your soul presence. Let's come into the heart. Big heart center. Let's fill the heart with soul love, soul light, soul essence, soul consciousness. And it might feel like it's even expanding in your chest, because it is. Just let it get big and full. And it starts to appear almost like a starburst or a sun just radiating your soul light. We are building soul radiance in our body now, in our hearts. Oof. Oh, yeah, there you go. It's like your cosmic heart is a cosmic sun. And it's you, it's your divine light, divine soul presence. Now, the more that we fill in with our soul light, our soul essence, our soul presence, it begins to kind of start to push the denser energies up and out. So we're going to use that momentum. So from inside out, we're going to start to pull up and out, spin up and out. Any fear or trauma or grief or sadness, just starting to let this lift out of your core. Start to flush it with the light, spin it into the vortex. All right, here we go. We're starting to get a movement. So we're commanding fear, pain, suffering, grief, sadness, trauma to come up and out of the heart, the mind, the body, into the vortex. Everything we spin out goes to source, light, God light, transmute to light. There goes another wave. And you don't have to control it. Just let the light inside start to push it out. It can come out anywhere. Even if you're washing it literally out of your cells, flushing trauma out of the cells, toxins out of the cells, fear out of the body. Here comes more. Flushing out, spinning out. Might have fear programming starting to wiggle loose at the brainstem there. That's your primal unconscious mind, unconscious brain. So let's run this crystalline diamond light coming down from source, like you're under a shower of it. Just let it wash down the crown. Crystalline diamond light washing through, like you're just cleansing yourself. Think of it as purification light. And we're starting to clean out the lower dense energies, the painful memories. Continue to clear out trauma. We're clearing out any kind of ego programming running in the brainstem at the back of the neck there, in the amygdala. So we're bringing more of the shadow into the light, bringing more of the ego programming into the light to transmute it, to convert it to light. There we go. We're just starting to shift. And I even tell my ego that I'm here to bring you with me. You can ascend with me. Yeah, good. So all is being done with love and compassion and forgiveness and patience. Just being very gentle with yourself. It just allows all of this to rise up. Here comes another layer of density coming out into source light. So it's like we're emptying the cup. We're clearing the vessel. This is our sacred light body, clearing out our earthly history. Yeah, do that. Let's do a nice purification wash of that, clearing more of the past history, our earthly history. Could be this incarnation or past incarnations. Could be a Armageddon timeline, just starting to flush out the energies of our earthly history that caused harm or pain or suffering. Oof, divisiveness, separation, disconnection. Oh, there goes more. Oof, we let it release into the vortex spins it to source. So as we're opening up, clearing our channel, this is our sacred vessel for the soul. Now we're going to do an inward movement, okay, an inward spiral. So imagine you're connecting, and I feel like you can like wrap your arms around all parts of yourselves, all aspects of yourself, your masculine self, your feminine self, your mind and your heart, your human self and your divine soul self. We're just starting to bring all aspects of self. You might even have more of the human fragmenting in the inner child. Could be having past life fragmenting. So we're just starting to spin inwards all that is of our soul energy signature. So all parts of ourselves, all aspects of ourselves, all fragments of ourselves, of our soul's unique energy presence, energy signature. And we're pulling inwards, spinning inwards, collecting and merging and blending and uniting in our core. You can pull it into your heart, your solar plexus, your power center. Woo, there we go. Starting to merge, starting to blend, starting to unite into wholeness, into oneness, into our fullest capacity, full potential, all that we are. Fast spin in. Everything's beginning just almost like a blender. Everything is blending and uniting and merging into oneness. We set that into motion now, and so it is. All in contained presence. Our light is our power, all in contained presence in oneness and wholeness. And just let that settle in, integrate in, become one with you. And everything's coming into order and balance inside, into that stillness that is you. And that completes our activation for today. Namaste.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Meg. We can feel that. We can feel that. I truly hope everyone can hold this and come back to it. So incredibly beautiful and important work. And we thank everyone for receiving this. And we thank you, Meg, for this gift.
It's such a gift from Metatron. It's my pleasure to share it and offer it to support everybody in their healing and their ascension. It's just really, Metatron is here with us, all of us, as we go this path.
And it just feels liberating and free and powerful and radiant.
It is radiant. That's part of the divine feminine coming in. It's where we're reclaiming our radiance again. It's so important.
The power of our light. Beautiful. There are no worries. There are no problems in this present moment. It's home. Yes. Thank you so much. And truly, I trust that those who are watching or listening come back and do this again.
Yes.
And use this tool. I find myself as well, Meg, in the middle of the night or at the end of a day, clearing out my aura in this way. And it's powerful. So thank you so much for this work.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to be able to have been gifted it myself. It's saved my life. And so I know how effective it is. And so I think that's why I'm such a great fan of it and just wanting to share it with everyone.
And as we mentioned, we're telling all our listeners and viewers now that Meg is a tireless teacher on this, and she does global activations at all the important transits. And there's one coming up next, and we invite everyone to that. But Meg, there's ways that people can go even deeper with you. You have an online course, and this advances us so deeply. Can you share what this course is about?
Yeah, so this is a package I put together from my academy. It's using the quantum vortex. It's broken into 3 courses, actually. They're self-study courses. And the first one is just a total deep dive into Metatron's cube and the quantum vortex and how it works. I mean, it's quite phenomenal, especially if you love sacred geometry and quantum mechanics. It's going to just give you a big overview of how it works, how it operates, and then how you can apply it in your life. And then the second course is how to accelerate your ascension. So how to really use this technique and jumpstart your ascension. And then the third course is 5D unity consciousness, because I think this is still kind of a new concept to people. What is 5D, and how do you get there, and what happens when you get there? And so 5D is this, the 5th dimension is an additional dimension of wholeness, of unity consciousness. So we're evolving out of the lower planes of duality and separation, and we're evolving back into, merging back with our galactic family and our benevolent universe. And so it's a lot of, there's in each of these courses, there is a very extensive reading material. It's an ebook. There's a workbook with exercises to do. There's an hour-long or more video of me walking you through it all and giving you examples of it. And then there's a 30-minute audio meditation to work with. With each of these 3 courses, there is a lot of material here, and you'll be off and running, because then you'll be able to you'll have the specific protocol commands of how to ground, how to contain your field, how to clear trauma, how to work with your ego, how to heal the fragmenting. We just did a very quick sample of it. This is hours and hours of training that you can do and really deep dive into it and get going on it. So I'm thrilled to put this course together for this year. I think, especially because it is a 5-year and everyone really does seem to be seeking more. This is a great tool that you can jump off with and just go for it.
Yes, thank you so much for bringing it forward. It is comprehensive of your life's work, and that's what makes you a really great guide, is that you've done this in your own life. This has worked for you, and it comes from your guidance with Metatron.
Yes, it comes from my guidance, from my higher self and Metatron. And also, to be honest, it comes also from 25 years of working with clients and their higher self also showing me things. I mean, in a way, my one-on-one sessions have been my university. I mean, that's where I have really seen and learned and experienced so much of this, so that I can share it. And if it keeps happening with different people, I'm like, okay, we got a pattern here. This works. Okay, we're going to keep doing this one. And that's how I built this all up, is really learning live, experiential with everybody.
Yes, beautiful. That program is brand new this year.
Brand new.
And it's available for everyone. And we're actually including Meg's next global activation with it. So that's fabulous. An extra added bonus.
Yes.
So thank you, everyone. Again, you'll find the link for this program on this webpage, and we invite everyone to check it out and work with it. Again, really powerful tools from a magnificent Ascension Way Shower teacher. Thank you, Meg Benedicte. When you look at New Earth, we'll get there, yes?
Yes, because it is in its birthing stages right now. It's literally, like, look at just what happened after the reset last year. The sky's cleared, the water's clearing. I mean, even in my little area here, we have salmon and steelhead actually breeding. I mean, like, everything was dead. You know what I mean? Like, everything is coming back to life. I am thrilled. I see this as a very clear sign. It's like the Garden of Eden is coming back alive again. So focus on that, spend time in nature, let your heart fill with the joy in nature, and keep sending your love into the field, because this is how we are changing the consciousness in the field as well. And yes, there is quite a bit that's still decomposing and collapsing, but let's just focus on what we're replacing it with, which is this new earth.
Yes. Thank you for those words.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually seeing in the collective more people are respecting nature, in love with
Yes,
nature.
I see that too.
Yes.
Yes, it's a
Those are
new
the good
awareness.
signs.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So stay the course, everyone, and thank you for your love and light. It is powerful. And Meg, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Loren. Always a joy to collaborate with you. Thank you.